joining us to discuss the elections timetable and all other related matters is IEC Deputy CEO for Outreach, Mawethu Mosery. Good evening, Mr. Mosery, and thank you very much for your time. So we are 27 days and I believe a few hours to election day, and this Friday is the deadline for applications for special votes. But before we get to anything else, just for those who might have not heard, talk to us about the widely circulated message that the IEC has since distanced itself from, which stated that all over 60s have been granted permission to cast special votes.
Good evening, Nomfundo and the viewers. Indeed, the message has circulated widely. It is definitely a message not from the Electoral Commission. In the way it is worded, it appears that it is a person knowledgeable about our processes as well as our contact number. The number there, the 32249, is indeed our special votes application line by SMS. But certainly there are no issues about us fearing how we will manage queues or parking at voting stations. There are no such issues. So in terms of that message, it's definitely not an authorized message of the Commission, and it is sending incorrect information. People over 60 must still come to the voting station on the 29th, but this special vote is really for persons who will not be able to be at the voting station on the 29th. And secondly, special votes is for people who are infirmed and bedridden, in many cases at home, who need to be visited by the Commission to administer special votes for them.
Then remind us of the application process. How does one go about applying for a special vote?
Those who will come to the voting stations 2 days before the 29th, anyone who is not able to be at the voting station on the 29th may use the SMS 32249 number by sending their ID there. And 2, they can go onto our website and capture their details there. And thirdly, they could visit our local office and they will be assisted at the local office. For those who are infirmed at home, they can write to us as the Commission. What is important with them is that they must give us the correct address of the home or place where they are, where we should visit them, which is why they have to write to us. They can be assisted by relatives or caregivers in terms of writing us that letter, and we'll be able to respond to them as well.
Now, when going through the elections timetable, it seems the next cutoff date is on the 17th of May, and this one is specifically for notification to the CEO of intention to vote in a voting district where one is not registered. Talk us through this process.
Basically, this is a provision that was made available for anyone who is not able to vote where they are registered. Remember, the framework says, as a voter, vote where you are registered. If for any reason you can't vote there, then you have to give us this notice by the 17th of May. This could be persons working in the security industry, some of the officials of the Commission, some of the individuals in our security forces, the truck drivers, and such people who are in traveling roles. But they all have to know where they will be on the 29th, because they have to indicate to us which voting station they will present themselves so that we prepare their ballot for that. If it is within your province, you will get all the 3 ballots. But if you are outside of your province, you will only receive the national compensatory ballot only for this particular voting process.
So is this simple notification via email, or there's a special link that one can follow, and then that's how they complete that specific notification process?
There is a special link which indicates Section 24A notification on our website, and you are able to then send your ID and the voting station where you will be on voting day, and we will prepare for you.
Then for those abroad, remind us of the dates for the casting of votes at foreign missions, and perhaps you can also give us a status update on the legal challenge, because we do understand that you are appealing the one for more voting stations abroad.
Voting abroad, we now know that there are 9 countries, largely in the Middle East area, who will vote on the 17th of May. The rest of the other 103 countries will vote on the 18th of May, Saturday, the 18th of May, and they have voting hours from 7 a.m. to 1700 hours. Though people who vote overseas are those who are registered in the segment of the voters' roll for that country, or those who gave us a notice that they will be in that country and they will come to our mission in that country to vote on the 18th or the 17th. We expect all of these countries to be fully operational. We have actually started distributing election material to all these countries, so we are on course for that voting process. Now, in terms of the court process to increase these missions, that particular decision we have appealed, which means we are not providing more missions at this stage to the honorary consulates across the world for South Africa.
All right. And then on perhaps violations of the Electoral Code of Conduct, any incidents reported? Because at the last encounter last week, I do remember that the NFP was looking to launch an application. This one was specifically against the IFP, that they had a plane that when they were at the stadium had just went past asking people to vote for the IFP, I believe. Did you get that complaint? And how many more have you received since then?
The specific one, Nomfundo, we have not received from the NFP, but we continue to get various other reports. Some of them date back to political utterances by various activists of political parties, and we are investigating those and attending to those. And some of them will actually be taken to the Electoral Court very soon.
Now, just in comparison to years past, are you seeing an increase in political intolerance or a decrease?
We've not seen an increase in political intolerance in the period that we are in. I think where we to a large extent, political parties are focusing on their campaigns rather than disrupting each other in terms of campaigning. What we worry a bit about is more misinformation and disinformation because it comes from various quarters and various platforms. That's the area that we are worried about at this stage. But political intolerance, it's still manageable up to this far. Yes, our panelists that mediate conflicts are kept busy, and we believe that they are effective because nothing has come west of their interventions in the various communities and between political parties.
So what tools are you using to address or correct some of this misinformation? Beyond perhaps interacting with the media, what else have you been doing?
Well, we've had various arrangements just for a supportive role in order for us to manage the space, particularly monitoring the space. But the more important cooperation agreement was with the platforms themselves, that where we report disinformation, misinformation, they will act immediately using their own governance policies in order that it could be taken down, or the person who posted be asked to remove the post. And we are quite effective and cooperating closely with the platforms on that score. On our part, we've put in place various monitoring mechanisms to always pick up on elements of misinformation and disinformation. Obviously, we cannot curb freedom of speech for the citizens where they air their views and not necessarily creating disinformation and misinformation.
All right. Mr. Mosery, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's IEC Deputy CEO for Outreach, Mawethu Mosery, speaking to us.